Thank you. I appreciate everyone coming to participate and observe the selection process ahead of us for County Clerk. We've been blessed with 3 people selected by the Republican Selection Committee that did an excellent job last week. We had a great turnout. The candidates that were brought forward are excellent choices. Thank you so very much. You've made it difficult. None of this will be open to public comment. And the process will be as follows. It'll be similar to what we did last week. Candidates will leave the room, and one person at a time will come in. They will be granted the opportunity to give an opening statement, talking about your attributes, what you can and can't do. You have a series of 6 questions that we'll ask you. It'll come to the commissioners at that point in time for open question, and then revert back to the candidate for their closing statement. You'll be dismissed, and we'll go to the next. At the end of this, we will work diligently to come up with the right selection. Do the candidates have any questions pertaining to this? When you go out in the hall, please do not use your cell phone to observe what's going on here and be privy to the questions being asked. I have numbers here 1 to 3. In my hat, I think that's self-explanatory, right? Jessica is number 3. Jakobi's number 2. By default, you're number 1. Great, thank you. Ladies, if you'd be kind enough to leave the room. Thank you. Please close the door. Thank you, Jerun. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Question number 1. How would you work with the commission to ensure transparent and accountable use of county funds?
I think everything needs to be available to do I not have it on?
There you go,
Get
closer.
Closer. Everything, I think if we can get the online maybe a little more viewable for people, I think it's hard for them to find. So I think on there, it really does break everything down for everyone. The other thing is having a hard cutoff for you guys, for everyone bringing in their accounts payable, so you guys have time to look that over and not getting a lot at the last second. And what was the other part of it?
Again, how would you work with the commission to ensure transparent and accountable use of county funds?
And I think bringing stuff up to you guys, if we do see stuff, I think that's important too. If there's something that, instead of just throwing it in the pile, bringing it to your attention that this might be something you want to look into.
Thank you. Question number 2. What do you see as the biggest challenge facing the Sublette County Clerk's office today? Again, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing the Sublette County Clerk's office today?
I think experience is probably going to be the biggest one, just with how new everyone is in there right now. And then the next part's going to be elections, since we have not any experience really in there besides myself.
Okay.
Running or doing anything with elections.
Thank you for that. Now, just so you're aware,
yeah,
you're entitled to take more time rather than have a synopsis to your question. You have the floor for a bit, so if you want to, good enough. Opportunities there, great.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Number 3, Why do you want to serve as Sublette County Clerk, and what makes you the best candidate for the job?
I want to serve as a Sublette County Clerk because I believe I'm the most experienced for it. I've been there now for 3 years working under Carrie. I've learned almost every aspect of it. After we've been shorthanded a few times and get thrown into different roles, I want to be there to I really want to help keep an eye on the budget and help you guys keep it where we're going to be able to have all these nice things around town for a long time. Like you saw this year where we had a big budget downfall or shortfall, and then we thought we worked out pretty good, and then it ended up coming back, and now we're going to have to go through that again. I want to be in the position where I can work with you guys from the first and not try to play catch up at the very end.
Great, thank you. What changes, modifications are you considering if you were to obtain this position, if any? Again, what changes or modifications are you considering if you were to obtain this position, if any?
So I would like to work closer with you guys, especially during the budget process would be a big one. Another one's going to be the election. I would like to, if I am elected, I'm going to reach out to Chuck Gray and try to talk to him. I know he's wanted to do some changes, possibly even trying to do a little hand counting in some areas to see how that would work and put that forward just to help with faith in our election process. And the other part I want to do is make the budget more accessible for people to see there online. Because I feel like it's an easy button for us because we see it on there to click on, but I can see the views and almost nobody gets on there or sees it at all. So I think that would be something nice for the public.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Question number 5. Mm-hmm. What does the phrase customer satisfaction mean to you, and is it applicable to the clerk's position?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I know people come in there, and my biggest goal is that even if they don't have everything, that we get them set up to where that when they leave, they know everything they need to bring back. So we don't say, oh, you're missing this one thing. They run out, say it's a VIN inspection, grab that. Then they come back, oh no, you're missing the bill of sale. Now you got to run out and get that. The goal is to, if they do come in, to only come in one time. And especially for the people that are farther away, in Big Piney, Marpleton, or Bondurant, that we're able to walk them through that stuff over the phone and make sure that when they do make that long drive, that they have everything on hand.
Thank you. Last question, number 6. What does the term integrity mean to you? How would you address an issue where you observe poor management decisions by other elected officials or department heads?
If it was poor management decisions, they're elected to that position. I'm not going to go and talk bad about them. If it's against the law, it would be something where I believed wasn't the incorrect path. I would bring, if it said it was in a meeting and I thought it should go into executive, I'll bring it up and say, I think it should be executive. If you guys don't want to do the executive, that's the end of it. Okay. In my view. So I would bring it up to that person.
Great. That concludes the written question. We'll open it to the commissioners to see what additional questions they have in this regard.
I got one.
Please.
Okay.
Do you have your mic? You have your mic on?
Sure do.
Thank you.
Pass it to
Are you holding it close enough?
I think they can hear me. But anyway, this doesn't seem like a big deal probably. But in the past, we've had a printed copy of the state of the county. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. And the clerk that we're replacing today was dead set against it. Okay? So we haven't done it. I enjoyed handing those out. It wasn't a big cost. Okay? But I'm in favor of, already had people ask about it. Like I say, as a county clerk, she influenced us not to do it. How do you feel about having a paper copy? Because people don't get on there and read it online, so.
No, and that's what I think the way we were trying to set it up this year, which we've kind of got pushed back, is where it would be online and it would be able to transfer over into a printable. Because I think we were getting charged $20,000+ for those booklets. I think they were $16 a piece. So they were a little bit expensive when we were, and I think if we did it ourselves, we could help push down that cost. And we have looked into that. And with the OpenGov format, once we do that website, it should be able to pull down and make copies.
It's just that.
No, I
I
understand.
went around every business in the county and put them out, libraries, and people appreciate it. And it was a nice reference for me because, people don't want to, I don't know. I just wanted your opinion because I'm opinion that we need to do it. So.
Okay, no, that's something I have nothing against. I don't think it would be too hard once we were able to get the online set up. The way we're setting it up now, it should print right over.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Bradley, any questions?
I don't necessarily have a question, but on our format, we were gonna give him a little time to talk
Yeah,
about
correct.
himself.
We'll pick that
I'd
up.
like to hear a little bit about yourself if somebody comes in that doesn't know.
Thank you.
Jerun, let's hear about it.
Well, and one other thing I did want to mention on that, I did mention at the Republican one, that I want to bring in to the clerks once we get some people trained up. I would like to start having a day where maybe we go down with the assessors to Big Piney or in Marbleton and work out of there so people don't have to travel as far to get marriage licenses. They could get them right there, pick up their title work, pay certain bills, or if they have recordings, they could drop them off right there. We could collect all that. That's something I would like to push.
Thank you.
A little bit about me. My family's been here since the 1890s. I've graduated at Pinedale High School. I went to college in Northern Arizona and finished top of my class in finance. I was a few classes away from accounting degree. I have a minor in investments. I plan on being here for the long term. I want to work for the county for as long as I can. I really enjoy it here. I've got 3 little girls. I don't plan on going anywhere. If I do win, I plan on running again. I've enjoyed working with you guys the last 3 or 4 months. It feels like it's been now, since Carrie's kind of put me more in there. Yeah, that's about it. And then just mainly the experience that I did the last time that I went over. We've kind of already talked about. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Vickery?
Jerun, my questions are going to be a little bit personal, a little bit tough, but you're going to answer it anyway, I think.
Yeah.
So when you look at the courthouse from one end of it to the other, there seems to be I'm going to pare it down a little bit, a certain amount of animosity, I'll put it like that, towards the some of those in the clerk's office. Now, if you were to be the one that was chosen for this, I know it's going to be a tough road to hoe, but how would you anticipate navigating so you could collectively bring this group together rather than have the barbs being pointed around and shot at as they have been?
I think we just have been kind of on our own. We haven't been in the cliques that all the other people have around here, which, I mean, if they start, we'll probably start doing more participation in some of the stuff they do that we really never did before.
Okay, fair enough.
Commissioner White?
I'm good.
What, if any, changes would you make within the existing structure of the clerk's office from a day-to-day work basis?
The biggest one is going to be, I think before where we had a lot of turnover is one of the big reasons was Carrie kind of wanted everyone to know every little thing. And a lot of people didn't want to do that. They liked their little area. And then when they didn't do the other things, she kind of got disgruntled with them and they got mad and ended up always quitting. So I think we need to, a lot of the people, I'm not going to have them learn all these other areas that they're not going to work in. I think we need some that are more specialized in certain areas than just a vast in everything.
Okay, good enough. Does the commissioners have any further questions?
Nope, I don't.
Any further statements by you, Jerun?
No, thank you guys for your consideration.
Great, thank you so much. Would you be kind enough to send Jakobi in, please? Please, good morning, have a seat.
Thank you.
Wish you well on this.
Thank you.
Please, would you be kind enough to start with an opening dialogue about yourself?
All right. I'm Jakobi Burbank. I think I've had the opportunity to meet everyone here except Doug personally. So it's a pleasure to meet you, Commissioner Vickery. I currently work in the assessor's office as a field appraiser. I also manage the personal property and other office duties. I graduated from Big Piney High School and attended the University of Wyoming, where I graduated with my bachelor's degree and am now pursuing my master's degree in public policy and administration. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to speak in front of you today, and I hope that I can answer any questions or concerns that you have about me. I think that the clerk's office is in a very important role, and I understand how we should best serve the community. And I think there are some things that we can do in that office, and I'm sure that you as commissioners want the best for the citizens that vote for you and make the best decisions there. I am incredibly well-versed in education, and I think it's super important for any position to be educated and continue certification and learning opportunities that we have. So with the clerk's office, I know that there are major responsibilities like elections, payroll, being the clerk to the county commissioners. And I have some experience from my schooling in accounting procedures. I understand the warrant process that we use in the county. I've submitted a couple of vouchers myself from attending other certifications. And I know that it's super important to follow all legal compliance. And yeah, I'm hopeful that I can answer all your questions.
Thank you. Question number 1. How would you work with the commission to ensure transparent and accountable use of public funds?
That's a great question. I know that the budget process is something that can be very difficult for both department heads and for you guys. I think that it's important that we take accurate meeting notes, meeting minutes, and make sure that the budget process is streamlined so that people understand, mainly department heads, what the outlook is for the next year and what we can expect to cut from our budget, or if there's anywhere to add in our budget. I think it's important that the public has some sort of input in our budget. I know that that could be a good or a bad thing depending on the year, but it is taxpayer money that funds the county and our projects and salaries. So I think it's very important that they have something in that. With the website, I think it's important that we have the current and correct links on there. I know that right now there are some budget year links that are linked to the wrong year. So when you go to look at the fiscal year budget, it doesn't take you where it's supposed to take you. Some of them are non-opening links at all. It just takes you to the homepage. So just having that clarity and accessibility in our website, I think would be super important for taxpayers so that they can really understand the process more. I know that there are certain statutory procedures with the budget when you have to have it submitted, with your budget hearings and everything. So I would make sure that we follow all of those correctly and try to get the best forecast for the year about where we're going to be. And then make sure that we have quarterly audits throughout the year. I think that's super important to make sure that we're on track. We could also put something on the website with that saying, here's where we are within our estimated budget, and make sure that we aren't going over too much, and just making that clear to the residents of the county.
Great. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Question 2. What do you see as the biggest challenge facing the Sublette County Clerk's office today?
I think the biggest challenge is communication. I know that people often come into the clerk's office and they are frustrated, and rightfully so. I don't think that it's very clear what people need when they come in, and I think that it's important that the clerk's office handles that accordingly. I think, like I said with the website, it needs to be more user-friendly and accessible to people. I think that the clerk's office needs to take the proactive action of holding public meetings or some sort of education to the community that helps them understand our work here more. And I think that people would be more receptive of, actually having to pay their taxes or coming in and recording their stuff if they could put a face with the clerk's office and know that we are somewhere that they can come in and feel comfortable asking questions and getting the correct answers.
Thank you. Question 3. Why do you want to serve as Sublette County Clerk, and what makes you the best candidate for the job?
I want to serve as Sublette County Clerk because I feel a responsibility to the citizens of Sublette County. A lot of my opportunities that I've had in my life are because of citizens and their work and their dedication to helping people succeed. I think that the clerk's office is really important, and that there needs to be someone in there that is dedicated, going to dedicate all of their time and make sure that the county is best represented. I also think that everyone should take opportunities to develop themselves professionally. And I think this is a great opportunity for me. And even if I was not appointed as county clerk, I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to be presented by the Sublette County Republican Party and to be an option for you guys. And hopefully, if not appointed, then if I run for a future office, then I have your vote.
Thank you. Good job. Question number 4. What changes, modifications are you considering if you were to obtain this position, if any?
One of the things that I talked to a couple department heads about is the budget process. And I know that is very long for you guys and can sometimes be frustrating. And so I think it's important to try to streamline that process. So I would first meet with the department heads individually and give them a forecast and an estimate percentage that they would need to cut this year, and just make sure that I can be there for them and go through their budget line by line with them. And then once it's submitted to you guys, I think it's important that they can personally present their budget and say, this is what is most important to me. These are the things that I want to accomplish, and have a priority list that personalizes the connection between their departments and you guys. I also think that there needs to be a position for public comment on the budget. So holding some sort of town council or budget open house so that we can explain the budget to people and try to get their feedback, whether that's in person or online. And then when it's finally presented to you guys, once we've done all of those steps, that it's sort of an easier transition for you guys to say, okay, I think we got it, and then we don't need to spend as much time as we've been spending on this.
Thank you. Number 5, what does the phrase customer satisfaction mean to you, and is it applicable to the clerk's position?
Customer satisfaction and customer service, I think, are incredibly important. Like I said before, the clerk's office handles a lot with the residents of the county, whether it's marriage licenses or recording deeds, and just like titles or anything like that. In the assessor's office, I am often out in the field, so I get to go to people's houses, and sometimes they're very welcoming of us and sometimes they're not. But I try to take any opportunity to inform them about exemptions that we have, make sure that we have their accounts accurate, and try to keep them informed on the workings of the county. And I think that that's really important, and making sure that we are open to the community. People are going to come into the office and they will be frustrated. I deal with that a lot in the assessor office. And I want to validate their frustrations and make sure that they can have a line of communication with us, and that we can try to best serve them within. I know that there are laws, and here is the law, and what else can we do for you within that.
Thank you. What does the term integrity mean to you, and how would you address an issue where you observe poor management decisions by other elected officials and department heads?
Integrity is super important to me. I think that it means serving the community with how they expected to be served when they voted you into office. If there was someone else, an elected official, that I didn't believe was upholding that integrity, I think I would bring that complaint. I would confer with HR, and then I think that I would bring that complaint to the Board of County Commissioners. I think that it needs to be dealt with compassion, and try not to hang that other person out to dry or anything like that, but make sure that we're all on the same page and serving the community like we were intended to.
Thank you for that. Now open the questions to the commissioners.
Get mine over with. So to me, you seem really young, okay, which is a good thing. But so say you were to get this job, and you have not maybe zero experience with working in the courthouse, you have some. So, you're going to be having to spend extra time, probably not, the 8 to 5, you're going to have some time where you're going to be in there working. Is that something that you can work into your life? Has it be a problem, or with how many kids you got?
I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's a sacrifice there.
Yeah.
So, is that something that you could handle?
Yeah, I believe so. I have worked for 4 years while attending school. So I worked full time and parented both of my children, and then attended school at the same time. So I think that I'm pretty versed in handling responsibilities and priorities. I have worked for the county for 4 years in different positions, and I think that I would be able to handle the responsibility.
Thank you. Commissioner White, anything to add?
Oh, good, thank you.
I do not have, thank you.
Commissioner Vickery.
I've always got a question. In fact, no mumbling from the audience, by the way, I can hear that. In fact, I may have 2. So I attended the nominating committee hearing, and one of the questions that was asked of you, and correct me now if I misunderstood that, was the question I asked: if you were selected for this position, what would be your intent of running again? I didn't hear a positive yes. Could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so I interpreted the question as if appointed or not, would I choose to run in 2026? If I was appointed, I would definitely run in 2026. If not, I would take into the account of the person that was appointed, and if they are best serving the county. And if there is anything that I feel is not correct or could be improved upon, then I would run in 2026.
Okay, so here comes a tough one.
Yes.
So when I see who within the confines of the courthouse is supporting, I guess is the best term I can use. You came out of the assessor's office, but yet the assessor's not supporting you, according to the information I saw. Does that look like is that going to be an issue for you if you're not the one selected?
No, I did not ask Layla for her recommendation because if I was appointed to this position, I would not want to, or if I wasn't appointed, I wouldn't want to put her in a position that would make it harder for her to do her job. If I'm not appointed, I'm going to go back today I'm going to go back and continue my work in the assessor's office. And if I was appointed, I think Layla has seen my education and the way that I do my job, and that I try very hard to do it to the best of my ability. And I think that she would support me if I was appointed.
Yeah, thank you. Great answer. Thank you.
Sublette County is one of the larger employers in the county. And one of the most important issues that we have is making sure that our most valuable assets, our employees, are paid and paid correctly, on time, with little changes to what has been issued. How do we resolve something like that?
Resolve
How
them
do we become proactive and fill in the blanks?
I think that if I was appointed, one of my major things to work on first is to make sure that everyone would receive their steps or raises and benefits that they were promised in this budget hearing, and making sure that that is done correctly. It's really important to me that people are paid for the hard work that they do. So I would prioritize the payroll process and make sure that our employees are valued and make sure that they get paid on time.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Do the commissioners have any further questions? Great.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys.
Is there anything that you'd like to add, Jakobi?
No, I'm very grateful for this opportunity. And if not appointed, I hope to see you in the assessor's office asking more questions.
Thank you so
Thanks.
very much.
I'll send
Would you
a
be
text
kind?
in.
Thank you. Morning, Jessica. Wish you well on this.
Yeah.
Would you be kind enough to give us an opening? Who is Jessica?
Jessica.
Thank you.
My name is Jessica Rice. I believe that all of you know me.
Would you be kind enough to speak louder and maybe
Sorry.
closer to that? Thank you.
I grew up in Sublette County, and I've worked for Sublette County for 12 years in the treasurer's office. I became chief deputy in 2019 and have been able to work closely with Emily and creating a wonderful work environment, a great atmosphere, one that the public loves to come into and visit and pay their taxes. I don't know how that's happened, but people don't mind coming to our office. We've made it a very friendly atmosphere, competent atmosphere. That being said, when I found out that the county clerk was resigning, I immediately went to work on talking with the community that I've worked with so closely for the last 12 years, and the departments throughout the county. Went to department heads and county officials and garnered their support, let them know that this is something I'd been working towards for the last year and a half. And it was something that was coming sooner than expected, but that I was ready to transition into that role. And all departments, all my coworkers, elected officials have been so supportive. And I believe that they know if I am transitioned into this role, that they can talk to me about anything, that we can work together to improve county government overall, the clerk's office, make it a friendly atmosphere, just like the treasurer's office, a place that everybody doesn't mind coming to. If the departments have any problems with their AP or payroll or their budget, things that the clerk handles, I believe that they would be comfortable coming to talk to me and working through it. So that being said, do you have any questions? I know you have questions for me.
I have a couple.
Okay.
Thank you. Question number one is, how would you work with the commission to ensure transparent and accountable use of public funds?
Well, I believe that doing what we do already, having the meetings available on Zoom for the public, is transparent as you can get. I believe that the community wants to know what is going on with their money, their tax money. And I believe that that's such a valuable tool, having the meetings available for the public to listen in and participate in. So I think that's as transparent as you can get, as involving the community.
Thank you. Question number two, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing the Sublette County Clerk's office today?
Perhaps elections. I think there's a lot going on at the state level that will trickle down to the county level. And so if I am appointed to the role, I plan on contacting the Secretary of State's office right away to get election training for myself and for any staff that doesn't have it. Just because it's such a hot topic at the state level, and it trickles down. You want transparency there, and you want accuracy in elections, in the election process.
Thank you. Why do you want to serve as Sublette County Clerk, and what makes you feel you are the best candidate for the job?
I want to finish out my career in county government. I love working with the public. There's nothing that makes me happier. I've never dragged my feet coming into work, not a day in the last 12 years. It comes with its own challenges, but I don't believe that there's many people out there that can say that they love their job. I do love my job, and I love serving the community. So just working for the greater good of the community is what my passion is, and I think as Sublette County Clerk, I could do that in that role.
Thank you. Question number 4. What changes, modifications are you considering if you were to obtain this position, if any?
I would say that I would be open to feedback from the commissioners, from the elected officials and department heads about anything that they have felt maybe needed changed over the last few years, but they haven't been able to accomplish, and ask for everyone's feedback and not change anything unless it was needed, but definitely just talk to everybody and see if there's things that they think need changed.
Thank you. Number 5, what does the phrase customer satisfaction mean to you, and is it applicable to the clerk's position?
Customer service, oh, most definitely. I believe that I've always tried to, well, what I've personally done, and I try to get the staff to do that's worked under me, is always greet people with a smile. You greet people with a smile, there's almost no way, even if they're coming in hot because they have to pay for something they don't want to, that they won't smile back. If you warmly receive your customers throughout the day, and you treat them like you would treat your brother, your best friend, there's no way they can be upset. So customer service to me means making sure everybody is taken care of. If you go above and beyond for them to make sure that their transaction is accomplished if you can, and hopefully they go out the door a happy customer.
Thank you. Number 6, what does the term integrity mean to you, and how would you address an issue where you observe poor management decisions by other elected officials or department heads?
Integrity means to me having high morals, high standards, never lying, never cheating, never stealing. And if I observed other elected officials or county heads doing something I didn't agree with, I would go to that person and have a chat and say, this is I don't agree with this. Tell me what's going on. Tell me your side of the story. And see if we, can come to an agreement about what's going on. But yeah, I have good communication skills. That wouldn't be hard for me to go to somebody if I didn't agree with what was going on.
Great, thank you. Open questions to the commissioners? Commissioner
Okay.
Stevens?
So it's pretty obvious that department has had more turnover than any other department. Okay, just there. So it's led to errors, okay, that affect us right here. Okay, it does. So how do you feel working with fellow employees, or, how would you kind of try to head some of that off, or, because it affects the whole county. Some of these things go haywire.
Well, I think that working so closely with the clerk's office, I'm aware of almost every role in that office already. And the staff is going to have to train me, but I don't have a problem with I've never had a personal problem with any of the staff before. And again, I think I would just ask for feedback from all the county departments, because they deal so closely with the clerk's office, and see, have you had any issues? What are the issues and how can we fix them? And then just work on fixing the errors that have happened.
How do you feel like you would kind of head it off? It's the fact that before it got to, to your communication skills with the employees. You'd have to work daily with them, I think.
Oh, most definitely. I think that getting feedback from them first I would ask them first. What is it that you think, is the most efficient way to run this office? Show me your duties. Tell me what's most important on a day-to-day basis, on a month-to-month basis, and let's work together to make it more efficient. But yeah, no, I don't think there would be any problem.
Thank you.
Commissioner Vickery?
We'll look at these other guys, see what they're going to say.
I've asked them first already. You're
And
in
they're
the
not going to
bucket
ask
right
a
now.
question. Darndest thing. Well, I've got one. So, I really did like your definition of integrity. Okay, that speaks volumes. And the reason I like that is because I look around here and I think, other than Joel, maybe Mr. Winnie too, I was brought up in an era where integrity was number one, and your word was right there with it. So we all know that we all have the ability to, and should have the ability to, say what we think. Sometimes it gets us in trouble, but that's just how we are. But I also believe that when you're an elected official, even though you want to reply to stuff, your professionalism should take over. And that's where the integrity factor comes in. And the reason I bring that up is because I happen to know that in one of the elected positions here, this commission took a Facebook hit unlike any I'd ever seen. And regardless of your position, and regardless of what you believe some of these commissioners do or do not do, would you, because I heard you say here once, you would go right to the person. Would that include going right to the commissioners and having a sit down with them and saying, hey, here's an issue, we need to resolve it, rather than splash it out there on Facebook?
I would most definitely go directly to the person in private if I had an issue with something that I saw. One thing that I've practiced over the last few years is to pause before I speak. If I'm heated or if something has upset me, I pause before I speak. And that could be days, that could just be a few minutes. But if I had a problem with something, I would never react immediately. So I would think about what I wanted to say to the person first before I went to them.
Okay, thank you for that.
I have no questions.
I have no question.
Please elaborate on your managerial abilities and history, if any. I can go in the office, I see you there, but I don't know what the individuals do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I moved into the chief deputy position back when Roxana was still in office, and I find it very rewarding to be a manager of people. I love working with different personalities. I love training. You know, that sounds odd, but I have always loved training new employees. I like to play on people's strong suits, on their strengths, and make them a better employee. I strive for excellence throughout my life and throughout my career. I always want to do better. And I think that when you lead that way, you bring people up with you. You show them that that's the way a county official is supposed to be. We serve the public, and we serve the public with respect. So I try to do that within the treasurer's office. It's how I would lead in the clerk's office.
Thank you so much. With that being said, do you have any closing remarks or statements about yourself?
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we move on to the next, do you want to take a break for a few minutes? Okay, great.
Does that mean yes or no?
We're moving forward. Sorry, you had your chance. We'll go ahead and bring them in and make our decision fully transparent, I believe. Yes? Great. Thank you, Andrea. Each of you did a tremendous job. Jerun, thank you so very much and for working to fill Carrie's position. Jakobi, coming forward and exhibiting your skills. That was wonderful. Jessica, thank you for coming forward and sharing your experience and what you've done in the past. All of you have done a great job today. Thank you so very much. Moving forward, I think we're in a position, trusting there's no further discussion, we will start the selection process, and it'll go 2/3 will vote, will get it. If it's a tie, then the person that's not included in that will be set aside. We'll continue moving forward with the other two.
I'd like to say one thing for
Please
you.
do.
Sublette County ought to be real proud. I mean, 3 great candidates here, and the great thing about it is y'all work for Sublette County right now. So thank you for your time and efforts.
Commissioner Bradley's absolutely correct, and it's too bad that we can't have 3 positions available. So with that being said, we'll move forward in the order of presentation. Number 1 is Jerun. Any aye votes for Jerun?
Aye.
1 vote. Number 2 is Jakobi. Any aye votes for Jakobi?
Please pause, take a break.
Again, please?
Will you please pause and take a break?
I can't hear you.
Mr. Chairman, will you please pause and take a break?
Thank you.
I need to look at something. I know.
Okay.
Guess we're having a break.
Yes, sir.
Nobody wanted one?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Richard.
We're good now? I apologize. I have no idea what that was about. We'll reopen the voting. Number 2, all in favor of Jakobi, signify by aye. And number 3, all in favor of Jessica, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any non-votes? Thank you so very much. At this point in time, we can go ahead and tell you thank you very much. I thought the courage to step forward and exhibit yourself on 2 different occasions. You spoke highly of yourself and your family and the county. Again, thank you. It wasn't easy, I know. Okay, next.
Mr. Chairman, you'll still need to do a motion and a vote.
Thank you so much. So at this point in time, we'll accept a motion for the selection of the county clerk.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we appoint Jessica as interim position for the county clerk until the next election.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Congratulations, Jessica. This motion passed and you'll be the new county clerk. And then we'll want to go ahead with the window weed. Swear her in, please.
Swear her in right now.
Thank you. If you come forward, please. Here you go. Good. Thank you. Good. Please raise your hand. I state your name.
I, Jessica Rice,
Do solemnly swear
do
Or-
solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm, I'm sorry,
that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution
that I will support, obey, and defend the
of the
Constitution
United
of
States
the United States
and the Constitution to the state
and the Constitution to the state
of Wyoming,
of Wyoming,
that I have not knowingly violated any law
that I have not knowingly violated any law
related to my election or appointment
related to my election or my appointment
or caused it to be done by others,
or caused it to be done by others,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
and I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
Great. Congratulations. Thank you so very much. Great job. Jerun, thank you.
Talk to you guys. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you. Bill Jerun. Sorry, bud. Experience doesn't count. Just learn that. Experience doesn't count. I'll be darned. What am I doing here?
Okay, do we have individuals for planning and zoning here, please? We can do that, thank you. Are the other candidates here?
She's here for hers.
Oh, you staggered them out. Okay. Thank you. At this point in time for department heads, we typically will do this in executive session. We'll take a 10-minute recess. Thank you. I just turned it off. That's what that red light means. On, off.
It was good. Good. Yeah.
Would you turn it on? It starts, or do you want me to?
Downtown.
Well, you. We're on a break, 10-minute break.
Hey, Joel, one thing to pay attention. DOI is coming out. Guidance on how they're gonna attack NEPA and or administer NEPA.
Who got hurt there?
It's right now, they're trying to cut off their
Really?
agency.
Yeah, he's pretty wild.
Really?
Yeah. So they're getting a lot of pressure to speed things up, so their answer in return was, well, we'll just cut out operating agencies, and that'll speed things up. It goes spike against them. One of the big things to be aware of.
That's unfortunate, because if they did it right, they could use agency status to speed up the process so everything's slow.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive.
That's an implementation.
Like,
We're going to continue moving forward, receiving applications. And if the right candidate is presented, then we'll make a selection. At this point in time, I'd like to a motion to go into executive session to discuss department heads.
So move. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Mr. Chairman, your statute is 16.405A, going at 2.
According to statute at 16.405
16.405A, going at 2.
as stated. Thank you. Okay. Please, if everyone not associated this would leave. I think Sandy's up first. application date forward in a couple of different manners. And then we've determined to extend an offer to an individual based on the following motion.
I'd like to make a motion to allow Andrea to pursue employment opportunity with Haylee Ruland. This job moving forward.
A second.
Questions pertaining to this? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so very much. Sandy, thank you. And Valerie, thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. And then last item, if you care to discuss, we received information last week from the clerk's office showing a budget shortfall of an additional $8.5 million. If I read this correctly. The question comes up is, since this is new information provided us, as a commission, is there anything that you would like to discuss? Any items that you would like to adjust? Is there anything different at this point in time based on the information we did during budget session to change?
Well, I'll bring up something. I know nobody else agree with me, but I think we're almost obligated to ask some of these departments to take some way to cut some, whether it's overtime or however they have to do it, but to cut some of these down to help cushion this blow. Because if we turn around next year and have this same thing, which is very possible. It's not nothing we made up this time. So you talk, if you add in the excess we had last year, 38 million, this makes it look pretty bad. So that's my suggestion.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Commissioner Bradley?
Content with covering it with reserves this year. I think the year starting off positive and natural gas is light. Investors seem to be thinking it's going to remain positive as we progress through the year. If it changes, we've got to know that next year there could be some real big changes come forward. So I'm content with covering with our reserves.
Thank you for that. Commissioner White?
Yeah, I think eventually we know that natural gas is a depreciating asset. What happens in the future, none of us will know. You guys have all heard me say that before. I think there's definitely conversations that need to be had, that there's going to be some drastic changes in the next, you look at 3030 when nuclear is supposed to take effect, could really affect the natural gas price in a negative way, which we all know that natural gas is our biggest contributor to our revenue every year, followed by oil and helium. But none of us know what's for sure going to happen. I'm good with rolling with what we have, but starting to have these conversations where we start talking about, hey, is it time to ask the public to start districting out some of the stuff? Is it time for the county not to burden all of the programs and districts that we have in the past under our 12 mills and start divvying it back up to other boards? I think it's time that we have talks about, cutting services, potentially shutting down, some of the services 1-2 days a week and cutting that back. I think at the end of the day, it's very specific of what we have to, per statute, what we have to fund with the taxpayers' money, and pretty vague on, we've had a lot of leniency to choose what we wanted to fund on top of that. I think going forward this late in the game, I would be good with covering it with our reserves, but starting those conversations earlier about what happens. how does this play out if we have another, I mean, realistically, 5 years of an oppressed gas price and we're out of reserves, so it doesn't matter much after that. You have to make those choices.
Well, I'd like to add, I would have been happy to take them out of reserves if we hadn't got this extra 8.5 million. To me, my cheap way of figuring or whatever, it looks like we cut 15% and now to around $3 million, which isn't going to break any of these departments, I don't think so. But I'm going to make a motion there also after discussions, so see how everybody feels.
So when you talk about taking 15% out of all that,
Except the nonprofits.
what we have to consider is making sure that payroll is payroll, and that's not, doesn't have a budget cut associated with it.
Well, it should help payroll. By doing that. Well, for one thing, they'll have to cut on overtime, road and bridge, and sheriff's office will put more money that we're not putting out. Because they won't have the luxury to spend that overtime.
Okay. So let's take the next step in regards to the, said 15% cut across the board. Let's take the assessor's office, which has a very limited fixed amount of expenses for the most part. If we take 15% off of that, is that going to also be 15% reduction in wages? And if we do that, then we've negated the steps that we've given some of the people that in our budget adjustment 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, road and bridge and fairgrounds took 10% already.
Bridge, fire, and treatment court, right?
So we get into
Those three.
issue.
And
fair.
I think we just cut some of the projects out, didn't we?
What portion would we attribute the 15% budget cut to? And I'm not saying it's good or bad. Dave, I'm just trying to identify.
Well, I understand, but I don't call those cuts at all for the fire department, cutting out a fire truck. I don't say that, cut the budget at all. That was just pork up there to me.
But we cut it an additional 10% with the pork.
Well, and we did 10% on one of the different ones, except the smaller ones, the limited expenses.
I'm just saying we gotta start somewhere. I mean, putting this off is just putting a Band-Aid out there.
Commissioner Vickery?
Where this crystal ball is, and I can't see through it at all. So I don't know where we're at, quite frankly. I know this, that if we don't have to tap into reserves, it's better than having to. And I think as we go forward, I think we've already made the statement that if you guys run out of money, then we can bring some back up, which would come out of the reserves at that point in time. What I think, if we need to come up with what, 7.5 million, is that the number that we're talking about going into the reserves to make this thing work?
If we want to take none out of any of the reserves, if we want to hold the reserves or still spend some out of the reserves like we discussed before, Doug,
Yeah.
make up the difference.
But yeah, it's a different scenario. I know that.
Okay.
But I'm sitting here thinking, we've got departments out there that if they step back and say, yeah, we can tighten this, we can tighten that, we may not have to go back into this reserve thing to get through. Because I'm kind of like Dave, when I read through all that stuff, there's a lot of ways they can pull little here and little there, and pretty soon it's a fairly sizable pot overall. Whoever you try to cut now, they're gonna cry foul. It doesn't matter. That's just the way it'll work. But, you know, the county right now is doing, well, I'm not pointing, I'm just gonna use them as an example. So every time I drive up and down the road, for instance, there'll be a sheriff car here, sheriff car there. They're just doing state work, basically is what it amounts to. And there has to be a lot of overtime accumulation just for that. Does that amount to a lot? Probably not for the total picture, no, but it's something. I think we need to let Casey slow down the overtime a little. Let's see where it goes. You know, I don't think we can't put the community in jeopardy of not having law enforcement. I understand that. But we tap into the reserves this year, and then next year, we're going to tap into them again. And pretty soon the reserves that we've got don't look so large. And if this thing continues, say next 2, 3, 4 years, then we already know we're going to get hit with new equipment because we didn't get any this year. That's a given. So are we going to put that off for another year? I don't know. We'll see what next year brings, I guess. So at some point in time, at least in my little world, at some point in time, you just keep extending and extending and extending until you have nothing left to extend, whether it's in replacements or if in operationals of some sort. I'm going to tell you the folks right now that complain and whine and cry, and I'm one of them at times, about the mag water. Don't put that on for a couple of years and see what happens. And those roads go to the devil. I was going to say go to hell, but I won't do that. But that's what'll happen. And so that requires either more maintenance then, which is going to cost more. And so I don't know how you balance this one out. I think the balance out was originally when we went through that budget. This, and this is out. But we did not do that, which is fine. That was the decision we made. So in all this rhetoric that's going on, I think I'm in favor of what Sam says. Let's just go with the way we've got the budget designed. If we have to dip into reserves this year, but knowing full well next year, folks, you better get us tight belt because we may have to really look it over. So.
But we know next year's going to be worse because of that, you know, with the 25% off for so many people. You know, we don't know how much that's going to be. You know, for the tax.
Right. No, I understand that, Dave. But
I mean, that's something that's, you know, I mean, just going to be an added burden to us. You know?
Well, it will be, but what percentage is that going to impact the overall revenue? It's not that big a deal, really.
It is if you're in a deficit. If you weren't in a deficit, it wouldn't be. But if you're
It's a predicted 1.2 million.
Well, they don't know. You don't know how many people fall into that category. Right? That are.
I don't know. I just saw one of the county deals. Every county gave their predicted revenue loss from this.
But what they'll tell you is they don't know how many people are 65 been in that house 25 years. You know, that change. There are people coming every day. You know, so they have no idea how many will fit into that deal. You know, so they're just estimating.
You know,
With the 25%, everybody gets it, right? That's the 1.4 that max. So that's a different program than the homestead exemption. And the homestead exemption already went past its regulation. So Layla should have a good idea of who she should be able to tell us everybody that applied for that.
I think it's still open.
It's not
For the ones,
for the homestead.
you know, Janessa.
Mr. Chairman, the applications were due the fourth Monday in May, so she should have all applications in on the homestead exemption, and she should have the numbers of the 25.
So what's the ones people are still getting? What's that? Can still go in there.
I don't know that there's anything that they can still go in there for. Let me go.
Please.
Yeah, because I took Bob Pittman there just a few days ago. So
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
when we talk about the downfall, we also have additional monies coming in from the different departments. And do we know off the top of our head how much that was in additional revenue coming from across the county?
So that should have been included in Emily's carryover number, which I was told it was, right? So that was everything we haven't spent and all expected income that we're gonna get from the waste management,
Correct, correct.
and all
Okay.
that. And then we have estimated revenue in there that we're gonna get from the lottery, or 30 cents from, or our third from the sales tax at 4%.
One of the things that, and everyone's kind of in agreement on everything within reason, we could move forward on that, requesting all departments not to, or rather to be mindful of what's occurring and reduce accordingly. And then in conjunction with that, bring each department in on a monthly basis to review their expenditure status for that month. And I recognize that we have hired department heads to run the department, but because it's affecting county monies, we may want to offer some assistance and thoughts on how they spend the money.
well, there, so you get accused of micromanaging, and that's okay, I guess. But here's the part and ever since I've sat in here, I see it every year. I didn't know what you called it until Commissioner Stevens came on board. It's the Walmart week. That's what it is. So every year, the last month or so of the budget year, you start seeing all sorts of stuff show up from different departments, because all of a sudden, we can't save that money. We got to spend it. And so over time, that's a significant amount. You see things you've never seen before. And so if they got along fine for the last 6 years I've been here, now all of a sudden, why do we have to have it now? It's because we got too much money left over from our previous budget. Well, I guess from their standpoint, that's okay to spend it. But from our standpoint, as we're talking, why should they if it's not a necessary item? Yeah. Myself, I'll give those guys a pat on the back if when they come in at the end of the budget year and they say, yeah, we've got $250,000 left we didn't spend. Thank you. Or, man, I just barely made the last day of Walmart season. Now I don't have anything. I mean, and that's what you see. It's not necessary. They know better. They should know better. And so that's infuriating at times. It's exasperating for sure to see if we're sitting here. We're not in a budget crunch for heaven's sake, but we're certainly going to dip into reserves, dip into them some, which, I guess that's what they're there for. But you only get to dip so deep before you can't dip any deeper. That's what I do know. But at some point, the community out there is not going to like it when Billy Pate doesn't plow the road in the wintertime only once every other day or maybe once, twice a week, because you hadn't got guys you can put on overtime. So what are you going to do about that?
You bring up a small thing like Commissioner Vickery's talked about numerous times, tires, okay?
Yeah, there's
Unless
another
you're
one.
forced to do something, you're not gonna save money, I'm telling you, it just won't happen. So,
Yeah.
But I'll forget about my motion because we have to move along, but I know people and.
Yeah, the tire thing just blows my mind. You see some of these vehicles, they bought tires, $600-$700 a tire, for heaven's sake. When the same rated tire can come through the road and bridge for $250 to $300. Doesn't make sense.
Well, they were 104 forever. For those thing. it's 100.
But those are the things,
I don't know.
yeah, those are the things that just, because it's not coming out of my pocket, it's okay to go ahead and do that. Those are the things that you hate to say you will, but maybe it comes time on issues like that. That's a big expense over the course of a year. Huge amount of darn tires.
I just used it as an example.
No, I know it's a great example though, because it's right out there where you can see. You know, but that's just one.
And then maybe we pursue the suggestion from Commissioner White to remove some of these and create their own districts. And by doing that, we'll free up the budget because of the lack of that expense.
Fire could go to its own district. What else could?
Fire could, museums could get district out. The conservation district, instead of the county burdening that, which they chose to do back then, get districted out. Senior centers can get district out. Ones am I missing, Janess? Police, we could cut down on the stuff we give to the municipalities and just run a sheriff's office and cut that down to a skeleton crew. We can, you know, like other counties right now are limiting hours of operation to cut down on open. You know, we can run a courthouse that's 4-day open on only 3 days a week. We can do lots of things that we're going to eventually have to do, probably.
Yeah, so I could kind of buy into that, but we've got people, let's say, for instance, let's say the courthouse is 3 days a week. But we have individuals salaried. So does that mean we're going to cut them back also?
The way I see it, you're going to have to probably let go of a bunch of people.
But that just, here again, this is me speaking, that just piles more workload in the 3 days with fewer people to accommodate it.
Correct. If you don't have the money, you don't have the money, right? You know, you look at what Laramie's doing over there, Fremont County, they got rid of their 4-H, right? Attacking that.
Yeah, they don't even have zoning over there in Fremont County either.
Right.
That ought to be fun.
Maybe we can get rid of that.
You get rid of that here, goodbye Sublette County. That's what that amounts to. So.
Well, and like you said, Doug, maybe we only plow roads every 3 days, you know, and people are on their own again. I don't know. I mean, if you have the money.
Some of the roads was every, like, Burbank was every 3 days.
Well, I think go back to your suggestion, you want to have a monthly meeting with department heads. I'd rather do it quarterly, but tell them, you know, be ingenious, think of cuts to discuss and keep an eye on that budget. I just think we'll notice changes if it's quarterly and discuss them.
And doing something is better than what we've been doing is nothing. I agree 100%.
And then it's not going to be a shock to anybody if we're having meetings throughout the year and next budget season, they'll know long before budget season.
Okay, so we can do quarterly across the board or quarterly staggered on a monthly basis.
Say quarterly staggered.
Yeah, that way we could do 4 a month or,
Last.
yeah, offer that, okay? And that's all the purpose of today was to just talk about where we're at and what's going on. And on the upcoming meeting, if you want to pursue it more and do the motion for additional budget cuts, that option is still available to us. It was trying to stimulate the thought process that the issue that we have coming forward and what do we do rather than sit down and try to solve it all at once.
Well, I think it should be known that it's not like we didn't do anything this year. There's some departments that have taken cuts. We've got a lot of the fat out. I mean, there's steps taken to make it look better than it was to begin with. And just bigger steps next year if needed.
Okay, great.
So this brings to, how much will you miss of our stuff that we wouldn't be working on?
You're gonna fill me in on everything. I'm not gonna miss anything.
Easy for him to say when he's out of the country,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, is there voting that we will be doing that you won't be here?
Yeah, we're gonna approve the budget.
So that puts you in what position for you to be able to call in and vote, or what's the
I can if needed, but I think everyone's head is talking about the same thing, and it's just a
Well,
modification.
yeah, but there's a big decision about where we're gonna take this out of.
Right.
You know, do we take some out of which departments and stuff, you know? And that needs to be talked about today while you're here, I think.
Well, I'll tell you, some of these departments got a pretty significant reserve all by themselves. That's where some of that stuff could come from.
Well, yeah, like I say, when we put that, the justice system a year ago, that was discussed, it was available to take some out of there. That was brought up right here in this seat. Okay. I wasn't sitting there. But I think that should be discussed today.
Okay, great. That's why we're here.
So, do you have a list of the reserve accounts?
I can go get one.
Get a list and their balances?
Well, and one of the things that we have to keep in mind is there are several of these departments that have enough money in reserves, in their own cash reserves outside of the county reserve account. They have enough money in there to float themselves for a year.
Absolutely, they do. So if we've got to, that's what I'm saying, if we've got to make cuts overall, those departments that have a large reserve, let's pull some of that out to offset some of.
But with the thought that they'll never get back put in there for a long time.
Unless the state comes after our reserves, then it's a good place for it to be.
Yeah, but we could get rid of some of that pretty fast, like a museum, should just get to him anyway, because he's gonna get it eventually. We give him $1 million this year, but he's got 3 or 4 in there. He's got a purpose for it, so I mean, if the state got after you, that's
Right.
easy fix there, I mean, they're not gonna come in one day and say,
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have a few months to make changes.
but
So I don't see anyone's budget books here, so County Clerk Jessica, there is a book that shows the cash status of the different departments.
Or he's
He's chasing something, but I don't know what it is. Well, that's the budget balance, but within their own entity, they have the expenses listed, plus they also illustrate the current reserves that they're holding in their own checking account, outside of our general reserve.
You're talking library.
Library, Conservation District,
Just our reserve.
no,
designated accounts.
Library, Conservation District, I saw money. Who else?
Fire's got 2 or 3 million sitting in there.
But he can't spend any of that without our permission, right?
Pardon?
He can't spend any of that without our permission, right?
yeah.
True,
Yeah,
but
he
we
doesn't
can pull
have
some of it out of there.
Yeah, I say just go even across the board. Doesn't matter, we just put it back in there wherever we want anyway, right? It's just a line item on a piece of paper. Doesn't mean that that money is guaranteed for them, doesn't mean that it's guaranteed for anybody.
Are we talking the same thing, I guess?
So reserve accounts or savings accounts, which one are you talking?
Savings accounts.
So we're talking reserve accounts, take it across the board if you want, however you guys want to do it. Savings accounts, we had that conversation a couple weeks ago. You guys know my thoughts. It all depends, I mean, what their budget is. If they spend over their budget, then we better have a conversation. If you want them to not have that and come to this table and ask for any money every month and we do a budget transfer, I'm good with that too.
Thank you, Jerun.
And those are with already being pulled out as well.
You've pulled the 7.5.
I
short
the
out.
whole 20.
Where,
It's like 26.
so where'd you pull it out of? It just across the board?
complex. No, just that's where we put 100% in reserves last year, pretty much, that we had. Just took it out of there. So on the right, I'll show you that, pulled that out, and then we had to pull out a little more once fire changed theirs. It should be pretty similar, besides just that one spot. Like your numbers, it's there next to it, whatever it is.
Good. You've solved this problem. Talked about it already, Chair.
Yeah, because I wrote everything up. So if you guys want to move money, you can do that at any time, really. Not a big deal.
So ultimately, it doesn't need to be moved. I mean, whether you put one account.
Yeah, it does.
It's still in
That's
the
why.
same spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Thoughts?
And with moving forward, just as presented next week when we approve it.
I am too.
Did you get that,
No, I talked to him this morning. She passed away. Talked to him. Oh, wait on Dave or make a motion to adjourn. You got anything else?
You don't have anything else?
Content with the budget moving forward as is.
Your thoughts?
Reiterated that.
Okay,
Next week, we shouldn't have any issues. We can come in and approve it.
I would think.
If there's nothing else, I'd make a motion to
Well,
adjourn.
let's wait just a minute and let him come back, and that way he's not excluded.
Paper shredder, you got one of them around? You can shred these applications and whatnot. I'll just give you my whole file for today.
There's mine also, Jessica.
Thank you.
You're gonna study this last piece of paper we got.
You're under control.
Okay, at this point in time, we've had a chance to talk about everything. I don't know if a motion is needed or not for the upcoming meeting. If you feel that you'd like to make a motion and pursue that, please.
I'll make a statement.
Please.
I'm done.
No, of course.
I don't think we could run our household like what we're doing today. Because if we dipped into our retirement, then down the road, we wouldn't be able to retire. So I just feel like we have a chance here, but we'll just see what happens. Lay down.
Okay, anyone have any additional thoughts in that regard? Okay, thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Meeting.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you. Opposed?
I was contemplating staying around.
I could tell that.
Oh, she did? I thought she said no.
She did.
She did?
Dave told her yes,
Oh.
she did.
Okay. Well, if you ordered lunch, I'll try and get the paper.